Have Monday, DJ. Here we go. I'm trying to get that radio voice going today for you, DJ, because we are back with Mayhem Monday.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
All right, DJ.
Lisa never disappoints. She is right.
No, always on top of it.
It's a good one.
We've been chatting for a couple hours now because actually no, an hour now because I missed a call this morning. My first time missing a call. So, but dude,
how are you
Monday
doing?
morning.
How are you doing? How was your weekend? How
it was good. It was like I was telling you when we were off air there, right? So I had my first chemo treatment on Thursday, my first radiation treatment Thursday, my second radiation treatment on Friday. And the biggest thing is the unknown, right? Like I think this goes back to business, this goes back to life, this goes back to parenting. I know in parenting it was huge for me when it was like, the unknown. Are you doing a good job? Are you not? Is it going to help in the long run? Is it, all of these things play through your head as you go through everything. Business, sales call, was what I said to that guy, is that going to carry me to the next level in the sales call? And so going in Thursday, got a hold of Jeff and kind of worked out Thursday, Friday, because it was really early Thursday, and I watched the show in the car. It's just, I'm starting to get, not necessarily like vertigo, but it feels like vertigo when I'm in the car and I'm like looking at my phone or I'm typing or I'm doing any of that. So I decided, what, Jeff, jump in. So thanks, Jeff, brother, appreciate it. And so I watched you guys' show Thursday, loved it. I didn't get a chance to watch Friday's show because I woke up. So this whole process, right now, I know what I'm kind of into. Like I know what I'm getting into, so it's making it a little easier. And decisions that my wife and I make and how we progress forward were very much based on last week, right? So like we get there on Thursday and we have to do radiation. So I do my radiation and that's fine. We get up for chemo and the doctors come in and they explain to you the absolute worst thing that's going to happen to you in your life for the next 48 to 60 to 72 hours. I'm like, oh, this is pleasant. Okay, great. I'm going to go home now. You know what I mean? Forget about it. And it wasn't that bad. The night of, like, they had me on a lot, and because I have type 1 diabetes, I have to stay in the hospital overnight. Okay. And the reason being is because chemotherapy is very tough on the kidneys. And because so is being type 1 diabetic tough on the kidneys, they like literally, brother, I must have been hooked up to probably 5 or 6 like bolus bags. Like they're just all night long for literally from like 2 o'clock one day until 1 o'clock the next day. Just intravenous IV, because they said it can really, really damage the kidneys, right? So for the first, and it's like, and I have to drink 3 of these every day, no matter what. And special mouthwash and all this kind of stuff. And so it's like you're going through this and it's this information overload. And I kind of, I remember it like as I'm listening to this, I'm actually going back in history in my head. And I know it might sound crazy for a lot of you, but I'm going back in history from my head. And it's like the same thing I felt when I got into this industry.
Yeah.
Where it's like so much information.
I'm so glad you went there. I'm so glad you went there.
Crazy. And so anyways, long story short, because I don't want this all to be about my treatment last week, but long story short, it's like I'm on this drip, IV drip, because they have to hydrate me first for almost 3 hours, then 2 hours of chemo, then another like 12, 14, 16 hours of hydration drip. And it was insane. But brother, I woke up Friday morning and I'm like, because I had my laptop, I was ready to do the show. I'm like, I woke up, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna kick this. I was like, dude, I am in. I get up, I'm like walking around the hospital. I didn't have to wear a gown. I was in my clothes. Had my little dolly tray full of all sorts of bags of shit hanging there, dripping into my body. I'm like, dude, I'm ready. I sit in bed, I grabbed my laptop and I went, and I just like, my head just collapsed. I'm like, yeah, that's not happening. And then I didn't actually eat until yesterday afternoon. No. Sorry, I apologize. Dinner Saturday. My wife and I are sitting there, and I've got zero energy. I look like and not to make light of it, because I don't mean to do that, but from somebody that's an ex-alcoholic, it felt like I drank 2 bottles of tequila and got hit by a Mack truck. That is literally the feeling like when you wake up the next morning and you're like just
death.
And like death. Yeah, it was horrible. But I also understand it gets better and better as you go, right? Because you don't know what to expect. And for me, the biggest part that I was trying to avoid was throwing up, because my throat's so swollen. You might not be able to see it on here, but you can probably see it's like way more swollen on this side than this side. So I kind of look like I got that muscular jawline on this side, and this side just looks like I like donuts. So that was a good one. You like that? Anyways, so it's back for another
Well,
round.
I'm so glad to see you back, my friend. I am glad to have you back. I'm glad you're doing good, dude.
Thanks. You know what, dude? It's nice to get back into that routine, right? And we made a whole bunch of deals with the people at the hospital, and so like I've got most of my appointments. The only day I'm going to miss this week is Thursday, because I got an 8:45 appointment that couldn't change, only because I got 2 radiations in one day because of the Canadian holiday today. But after that, like, we're solid. We got them all at 12 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're here every day live for the show. So excited, super excited for it. And you know what, like, you guys are helping me through this, and I really appreciate it, everyone. Thank you. So,
oh man, thank you.
Where we go. Jeff says, Lisa beat me, my bad. She beat me bad. He says, however, I can help my friend. Take care of yourself, and first and foremost, you have my number. 100%, brother, and thank you.
Yes, Jeff,
thank you,
man.
Yeah, you guys nailed it on Thursday. I love that show, man. It was great. So, brother, are you ready to kick off another
I am ready
week
for the
in
cards
this world
today.
of logistic sales?
Yes.
Are you ready to help to take some people to the next level, brother? All right. What do you got?
Let's do it. Right there.
Oh.
Tell me it's a good one.
Oh, it's a really good one.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, really good one. What to do when no one is listening?
Whew, that's a real good one.
Mm-hmm. So what this one was, and I guess maybe some context to start this off for y'all.
I'm curious how you played this one.
So like, people can play this in a couple of different ways, right? I've obviously played it towards the sales part of it. So what to do when your prospects aren't listening? What to do when your customers aren't listening? What, not necessarily like, who you are is how you act when nobody's looking, kind of thing, right? But So, so I put down when nobody's listening. First thing is identify why, right? Call up a client, give them your pitch, ask them to rate you on it, right? Revisit your client profile. Everyone is moving one way, go the opposite. So these are 3 kind of ideas and strategies I started writing down when you say, right, like, where do I start? Like, what audible do I call? When, like, because I'm sure you've been there before, TJ. I vividly remember, like, every single phone call seems to hit. Like, every time you connect, and I'm not just talking like a cold call, you get a person instead of a voice, but I'm talking like a scheduled call. It hits, scheduled call. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's just like this zero dark 30, and like every single traffic manager is chasing Osama bin Laden, and nobody's around. And when they're around, they don't want to talk to you, or there's all these other things. And it's like, you tend to stop and you question yourself, and you question your skills, and you question, like, am I right? Like, is this, like, I'm better than this, aren't I? Like, what is wrong with me? Like, and then you start thinking, well, it's me, right? Because most of the time we say one thing, if internally we feel another. The people read the internal over what we say most of the time, right? So like salespeople that have commission breath, they're always going to hear it, always going to hear it, right? So I started looking at it and saying, okay, why? Like, why is nobody listening now? So a couple of things that come up are, one of the biggest things that I realized when people stopped listening was I wasn't current, right? Like I was, and you know as well as I do, sales goes in cycles. Like the way we sold a year ago is not the way we're selling today. The way we sold 6 months ago is really not the way we're, I mean, some of the, don't get me wrong, and I know a lot of people are going to jump down my throat. Some of the essences are always there, like relationship is always key in sales, but the way we connect, the way we initially have the conversation, we're hearing more and more customers say, challenge me with questions.
Yeah.
Like, don't just pitch slap me, as
Research
John,
me. Know what
our
I
main
do.
man, John Brewer, says. Yeah. Like, don't just pitch slap me. Like, challenge me with a question,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and so it's interesting because a while ago, it was like, why would you ask that? The same questions we ask today that are really relevant are not relevant. And I think this is very, very key to understand our market. Greg's here and Greg deals with drivers.
Yes.
What's the conversation today, Greg, that wasn't being had 3 months ago with drivers? Right? That's where the conversation starts because that's where their head's at. And that's the big thing in sales is our job as salespeople is to strategically enter the conversation right where they are. And that's where we intersect and we just kind of form together like a motorcycle going down the road and they hit another at the stop sign with another guy and they're both going the same way. They just form a group and they
Yep.
protect each other. One's here, and they just, they keep zigzagging. And it's kind of the same thing in sales where we really need to meet our prospects at that conversation they're having. And I think if we take our finger off the pulse, DJ, I think we lose that intersection. I really think we do. And for me, that was like one of the very key points I had when I was like, oh, so I've lost touch. Like I because we go into these like just routines and motions.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And our subconscious takes
I was
over.
gonna say we get stuck, and then I was doing in-home sales at the time. I'll never forget this because I was killing it. Custom patio covers. I'm literally closing like 90% of the appointments I'm running. I'm like, this is crazy. This doesn't even make sense. Then all of a sudden, I'm striking out. And I think there's two things that, at least for me, that happened that I noticed. One was kind of like that baseball. You get up to bat and you strike out a couple of times. Now you're scared and you start to it gets in your head. And now it's like, shit. And then so now you're kind of just hoping to hit it so you don't strike out and look like an idiot again. And I think that's partially what plays with this is we're like, oh no, like you said, we're killing. And then we start and then we're trying to grab for everything and we're just missing. And my manager at the time, he said, go back to, he said, what are you telling them? Tell me, walk through. And so he just did kind of a role play and a basic training with me again of the basic steps. And he was like, and I was like, and as I'm going, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm skipping.
You realized it yourself. Like,
yes,
you actually.
I realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. Yes. And so some kind of training, some kind of just going back over the motion, I think is one really great thing because that, for me, it made all the difference. And from that point on, whenever I start to get in that rut, that pattern, that bad streak, it's like, okay, slow down, don't panic, don't start vomiting, commission breath and start pitch slapping them. Let's figure out what I was doing or what I'm not doing now. And so having somebody you can role play with, somebody you can go back and forth with, it's so crucial.
I like that. What do you think about revise and revisit your client profile?
I think just like life, our ICP changes with the seasons, and I think we have to be real about that. I think for me, again, just speaking, these are all faults that I've figured out that I did, but I wanted this wide blanket because I thought, well, I could be for everybody. I'm not for everybody. Nobody's for everybody. And so once you can really hone in, okay, these are but then I think again, as life comes and different stages in our life, I think that always changes too. So I think we have to always reconnect with that. But yeah, you really kind of honed in the message for me with ICP. I really wasn't focused prior to taking your training. So shout out to you. But yeah, I wasn't really focused on, okay, let me be stubborn, and I'm kind of stubborn with it. I'm strong with it. I don't like how this is. I don't even care if I can make $1 billion here. I don't like that. I'm going this way. And so I'm just very if I don't like the vibe I'm getting, I'm gone. And so I kind of took the ICP to the next level and to the extreme, but I just think it's something we need to do. Niches are in the riches for a reason. or the riches are in the niches for a reason. I think, if we could just hone that and we stay our lane and we find a lane and we really perfect that, that's all we need to do. We don't have to be the masters of everything, just the masters of what we're trying to do.
One thing I found, I love that you said that, DJ, and sorry, my voice seems to be going already.
No, you're
the
good.
one thing I love about that is when you are so focused and pinpointed on your ideal client profile, that's actually a niche.
Yeah,
And like a
exactly.
niche is just not a type of business or
No.
anything. A niche is a process. And if we look at that, the idea of a niche, you get that ideal client profile down pat and you operate as a niche in that ideal client profile.
Oh,
My friend, the world opens up for you. Like it is
yes.
crazy how it works, just crazy. And I
I
have seen, like,
agree
I know
completely.
people. There was one guy that I knew. No joke, he was probably $200,000, 300, 400. At one point, I think he did $420,000 GP in a month. And this guy was just rocking. And he had a customer profile niche. That's
Nailed.
it. Helped specific people do specific things, and that was it. Never strayed from his lane. Jeff said it a million times.
Yes.
Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
Yes.
Stay in your lane.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure. The produce is killing it these days, and you can move frozen lobster, and it's going to be great. But to learn that and to become an expert in that does not take overnight when your customer needs it picked up.
No, and you can mess it up really bad too.
Huge, huge. So we have Greg says it's a long. The journey is long and tough, but keep in mind the destination is well worth. Thanks, brother.
Yes,
thanks,
sir.
brother. Tape the call and replay it if you can. Remember, you have more negative than positive reactions. Expect this. Stay to your course of action. Remain on your path. He just said it again.
Ashley is correct, Jeff. That is if you do, and that's one thing. The first brokerage I was at, they recorded calls. So listening back to calls, if you're not doing that, look, I hate listening to myself. I don't watch this show back. I don't want to listen to myself, but I did listen to calls because, again, I learned very early in sales career that you have to. It's a craft. I mean, this is a skill. It's something we do. It's almost, it's something that you constantly have to work on. And if you're not focused on it, you miss that one thing, that one word, that one phrase, that one whatever it is that has and is just money every time, and you start missing that and you don't know. You end up in that rut.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, there's one thing, DJ, I know when I first turned on the camera and first started talking to the camera, it was like, you're not you, right?
No.
And it's true. And it's just like in sales, you're not you. And here's the thing, here's another point. And every salesperson that's been in this position will agree with this. When you stop selling, right? So you get a book of business, you start running your business, you start managing the business. And before you know it, because I think we've all been there, we're kind of stopped and we go, I haven't sold in 5 months.
Yeah.
Then when you pick up the phone to sell, it's a different voice. You have to get back into that comfort.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's
just like baseball, it's just like anything. I mean, that is life completely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, I was sitting here this morning waiting for you to jump on. And I haven't been on the show in 2 days. And I'm nervous as hell. And I'm nervous as hell because I've got probably a third of my energy that I normally have. And I bring energy. That's my trademark, is the energy and the excitement and joy I bring. And I'm trying to bring it. And I haven't been on in 2 days. There's so much that's happened. We haven't been able to catch up because all I've been doing is sleep. All these things are going on in my head. And then you hit go and it's okay, Dan, just be you. You don't have to be this, oh my God, man. It's come on, man. This is the reality of it. This is what's happening. It's super
this
exciting.
Is what it is right now.
It's a new journey in my life. I'll tell you, the lessons I've learned in the past month are life lessons that I don't want this to sound more, but I wish I would have learned years ago. Right? Just from an energy, from an excitement, from a next level progression, like a next level accomplishment, next level achievement. Y'all be very, very on the watch out for what happens in the next 12 months over here, because this shit's about to get real. And and that's the cool part about it, right? That's the cool part about it. And it's unfortunate. It's funny. I was speaking to a colleague of mine, an old colleague of mine, exact same thing. He just went through it 2 years ago. Exact same thing.
No way.
Yeah. So we started talking, and that has helped me because he's just been through it. He's my age, has kids, has a family and everything. And like, we're going back and forth. And, it's funny because he said to me on Thursday, he says, dude, he goes, this is one thing I wish we didn't have in common. But it's, so it's like this, right? When we stop selling for any period of time, some people that could be a week, some people that could be 2 days, where I find it takes us, maybe 3-4 calls to get back into it, kind of, that mojo. I remember vividly, like I've been, brother, I've sat in boardrooms for multiple, like, double-digit $1 million deals, 15, 20, $30 million deals.
Not nervous. You're in the zone, right?
Like, just not nervous, in the zone. I remember when I started my own company, the first call I had to make to ask somebody if they wanted sales training, I was crapping my drawers, brother. Like, no joke. I almost needed to wear Depends just to make the call. Like, it was bad. And I'm sitting in my head, I'm going, why? Like, why? Dan, come on, man. You believe in this more than you ever believed in your freight. Like, more than did I know I could move freight for me to be? Sure, of course I did. But, like, it's you. It's all you now. I'm not counting on a team member. I'm not counting on a new carrier we just got in. I'm not counting on a driver that's having a bad day. Like, this is all me, 100% on my shoulders. And it was like, and all of a sudden for the first, so, and as probably as well, it's real. I don't know if it's necessarily embarrassing. I was paralyzed for 4 days starting my company. Like, I started my company. I didn't make a sales call for 4 days because I kept going, okay. So, and I mean, I've got like 15 training courses. And I'm sitting like, okay, no. You know what? I'm just going to get another coffee. I'm going to rethink this. And I go back and get a coffee. I come back upstairs and I'm getting my pitch. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say that. And, okay, now I got to whittle this down into my points, into my little sticky notes that go on my computer. So I just got my bullet points. And like 4 days later, I'm like, okay, dude, what the fuck's wrong with you?
What am I
pick
doing?
Up the goddamn phone. Yeah, like, crazy.
I did the same thing, and I had that same talk to. What am I doing? Why? I've been calling and talking to people forever. Why am I frozen now? But it will.
Crazy.
It's kind of like those big moments, like your Super Bowl. I'll tell you a funny story actually here, and this is very embarrassing but very funny. So I'm away at college, and friends with one of the guys was he was a cheerleader for the team, and he picked me to do in the halftime. They would have somebody go out, do like a layup, do a free throw, a 3-pointer, and then a half court to like win. I forget even what it was. And I've been in front of people. I've never I played sport. I mean, I played in front of people. But I'll tell you, when it's big and when it's there, I nailed the layup, I nailed the free throw, I nailed the 3-pointer in a row, every single one. Half court, I have more time than anybody. The ball felt like it was 1,000,000 pounds, and I couldn't throw it to the hoop. And I'm like, hold on. And then it was finally like, whoa, like breathe for a second and get focused. But yeah, I mean, it will paralyze you in the moment. And I think, when we feel those moments, like you're saying, your business, my business, you're like, oh God, this is different. This is a different moment. Just calling for somebody else. This is me. Crazy.
And it's crazy how it changes, right? One tiny shift in the dynamic. And like Lisa says, you feel rusty. Then she says, yeah, be yourself, right? You get inside your own head. These are all huge things. Greg says, oh yeah, it was a good Macho Man muscle flex. Thanks, brother. I don't feel very strong, but thank you. It's crazy. And then the last one, of course, is if everyone's moving one way, go the opposite way. Right. And that for me was, I've never wanted to be a herded cattle ever in my business, in my life. And, that for me was probably one of the biggest things when I stopped and I said, if all these businesses and companies are going this way, Like everybody's following each other. I want a company that's going to say, hey, what happens if we go this way? Like, what happens if we do something different? You know, and actually, yes, thank you, DJ. You reminded me, y'all. I'm rusty here, brother. You and Jeff have been getting way more practice at this lane of the day than I have. So today, my friends, the lane of the day from our friends at DAT IQ is driving Baltimore, Maryland to Cleveland, Ohio. Line haul rate per mile is presently sitting at $2.78 a mile. All in with fuel surcharge, we're looking at $3.45. The contracted rate is $3.38. So we're flattening that change curve on that contracted rate. However, year over year, line haul rates on a spot haul market are down 22 cents a mile. With spot rates, van spot rates are on the rise for this lane after staying flat since May. Current rate is 40 cents a mile higher than the June average. So that's pretty interesting. In a month, it's gone up 40%. Now, you think about this for a second, right? So contract is $3.38.
Yeah.
Line haul spots over contract, and spot is gone up 45 cents. So it's interesting because in June, literally, 33 days ago, shippers might be going, well, hold on here. Like, spot rates are so low here, right? And that's just that constant fluctuation when you're talking spot rates over contracted line haul rates. So that's your DAT lane of the day. Thank you to our friends at DAT. We've got lions, not sheep. I like that.
Yes.
I like that. Yeah. You know, if y'all haven't read Brendan Burchard's Motivation Manifesto, it is one of the best books on the planet. And he says, why is it that we are beasts with the heart of a lion, do we act like mice and never take our step forward into where we want to go, into the world we want, into what we want to do, and to ask for what we want? You know what? I'll tell all y'all right now, like, and live today to its fullest. Never put off today what you can do. Get everything done you can get done. And yeah, you know, I know we talked a lot about that fear and about that being in our own head today, and you know, really about, you know, what to do when no one's listening. As fearful as maybe, hey, you know, friend at the office, could we do some role playing? That's weird, really, because I'll tell you, there's people out there that make $40 million a movie by role playing. Is it weird to them, or is it weird to them, or does it put food on the table for the family?
That's right.
Right? Yeah, perspective. And you know what? I appreciate. I just have to give one shout out here just for a second, DJ. So to my man, Jeff.
Do what you got to do.
Jeff and I had a conversation last week about perspective, and brother, you rattled my head and shook my eyes, and thank you, and I appreciate it in my heart of hearts, man, and fucking awesome. But think about it, right? Like, role playing, what is preparing for a movie? Like, so, and I'll give you a perfect example. So on
same thing,
Wednesday night, my wife and I went and saw the Elvis movie. I don't know if you had a chance to see it yet. What a great movie! But I mean, this guy did awesome. But you know what? For 2 years before the movie started filming, he acted like Elvis. And the movie's been filmed for a year, and he's having a hard time not acting like Elvis.
Isn't that crazy?
So, but you think about this for a second, okay? Like, that is what a professional does.
Yeah. Yes.
They immerse themselves to make it the best possible experience for their customers, right? Who's his customers? Everyone that's going to a movie. Everyone that's going to tell the next person. I just told hundreds of people right now how awesome that movie was. Yeah. But that's because he put the time, energy, and effort to be the best he could be to deliver the highest level of value. And that value in the movie industry is entertaining. The value in our industry is helping our customers achieve their goals. Like who cares? You spend 2 years working towards something to join the TCC, to join the 2 Comma Club, to do $1 million in GP. Is it worth it? Fuck yeah, it's $500,000 a year GP. Damn right, it's worth it. Yeah. Right? Like this is what I'm saying. That dedication, that level, that just like the immersement in it. Do it. Get it done today. tomorrow.
you're either
Today.
all in or you're all out, but don't be in the
Yeah.
middle. That's what I
Yeah.
think. Don't
I
be in the
love
middle.
that. I love that. All right, brother. I need to go take a
You
nap.
good? You good?
But
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
we're
okay.
good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good.
Well, I will
I
take us
feel it
out.
going.
Yeah. I
So I
see.
appreciate it.
Ooh, that's all right. Hey, well, thank you, everybody, for all your comments. Thank you for joining us as you do weekly. Start your day right with us, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Start your day right here, Sales Chatter Live. Get your day right. Get your day going. And like Dan said, don't wait for tomorrow what you can do today. Do it now. Do it now. Quote to take us out. I've been loving the Zig book. He has so many good quotes in this. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah.
I've been going with Zig. So Zig, hopefully y'all aren't sick of Zig yet.
Y'all can never get too much Zig.
No, you can't get sick of Zig. Come on.
Mm-mm.
So here's a good one, everybody. Live this one out this week and see how many lives you change. Be helpful. When you see a person without a smile, give them one of yours.
Centurion Trucking, our motto is people before profit. Today's market requires more transparency, consistency, and focus on what our clients need to win. Centurion Trucking and American Logistics are poised to help their clients achieve and surpass their targets. If you're looking for a team that honors your needs, dreams, and aspirations, then get a hold of Daman at American Logistics or Centurion